crew here with John Oregon, my boy from the infamous Enticed Motorsports. If you don't know the name now, you probably know some of the builds they've worked on because they take home awards all day, featured in magazines all the time. We're gonna talk about one very special feature that really popped him off, a little something to do with Travis Scott Jack Boys, if you guys don't already know, but let's get into it. We're here at the new shop for Enticed Motorsports.
Yeah, so it's fairly new. We've been here for about 6 months.
Nice.
So we thought going a little bit bigger than we were before was gonna be enough. Unfortunately, we're actually in the midst of moving out again.
Already. This is my first time even here, and I can't believe it's already been 6 months, first of all, but so you guys are already just packed out.
Yeah, so pretty much before we were subleasing about 1,000 square feet. We figured let's go double and maybe that's gonna be enough for us. But I didn't realize, I always just counted on the work that we had and I based it off of that rather than basing it off of how many people want work. So when we moved in here, I didn't realize how fast all these people were gonna show up, and we outgrew it within the first 4 or 5 months. And now we're in the midst of getting a bigger shop and deciding on whether we should buy a building or we should rent a building,
Well, however big you think you're gonna go, think a little bit further ahead because it's crazy. I mean, I remember John did the EVO build, he's doing Andres' build, I mean, he's obviously doing all of our builds, obviously, and that was like 6-8 months ago now, and I mean, you already had like 10 cars backed up, you're like, yo, I can work on your car, but maybe not for like 2 or 3 months. I was like, all right, whenever you can get to it, I feel it. And then now, with the bigger shop, you literally just doubled your capacity, but now you see, not only did you have cars on waiting lists, but then you have all the people who are seeing their builds and everything who are not hitting up too, I'm sure.
Right, and some of our space did get taken up, not just by cars, but when we were working at the other shop, I based it off of just the tools we have and the parts we have. And I did have a lot of things that I wanted to do in mind, like machines. I wanted to brake, I wanted a mill, a CNC machine, and all that. So I never calculated for any of that.
Because that's actually a ton of space.
Yeah, it takes up a ton of room. And once we moved here, I realized I did have the capability to purchase some of those items. And once we started getting some more machinery in, it started taking up more space. And it was just things that weren't accounted for when we
100%.
Yeah. So
being a business owner, right?
Yeah, especially.
No one teaches you these things.
No, definitely not. And it's just a learning curve. And it's a good thing though,
Hell yeah. What was your first build?
My first build, it was actually, I gotta think really hard about this one,
Or not only that, but what was the build that inspired you to go the direction you did, bringing you to where you are now?
So it wasn't even so much a build that I did. It was more, I had cousins and friends that were older, and seeing them build cars was always like, even from being a kid, I was always into cars, and I was always I didn't want anything but toy cars. So having family members and friends that did cars, one of my cousins went to a now friend of mine, which is Jerry, to build his hatchback Civic, and I was really big into drag racing.
Nice.
So my first car that I was actually able to purchase on my own was a 2006 Honda Civic, and I was like, I'm hooked, I want the noises, and I didn't even care about going fast. I just wanted to.
It's just the vibe, it's the feeling that comes along with it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And being in that kind of a community where it's like you're a part of something different and bigger.
Right, and it's crazy because if you think like a couple years back, the industry seemed to be a lot more saturated than it is today. Because you had all the street racing going on, you had the drag scene was big. There were so many magazines that were out at the time. I think there was D-Sport, Honda Tuning, Super Street. And it's died down a lot here.
Well, it's transitioned at least.
Yeah, what changed it a lot was social media.
100%.
And you see a lot of it in social media, so a lot of people don't feel the need to go places no more.
Exactly, 100%. Which is exactly why we wanted to bring Enticed to the world of YouTube, because I mean, every time we come here, you guys are just working on the most insane stuff, and like, I'm just like, every time we come in here, I'm just like, oh my God, like, what is going on? Like, I love it, it's so dope. But you're totally right, and I mean, it's so cool because I feel like you've gotten so much dope business and you've done so many cool builds because social media as well, and the fact that so many people have been able to see your work, that's why you're getting blown up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Social media has helped. I think.
But your work obviously is the reason why.
Right. It's just now we get calls that I would have never expected to get in the past. Like we get calls from New Hampshire,
hell yeah,
Mexico,
exactly,
Europe. I mean, places I've never even seen.
Yes,
you know? So it's even though sometimes we may not close a deal for certain of these calls. It feels good to know that people from across the world know who you are, and even just getting that phone call,
100%,
like
100%
satisfaction of knowing you.
Yeah, you know that they have a huge project that they're working on, and they're willing to spend a lot of money on that project, and they're like, this is the company I want to do this project of mine that I'm going to be putting a lot of money into, and like I don't want it to be fucked with.
No, definitely, and I think that's another part that gives you that satisfaction that I don't claim to be the best. I claim to do my best.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there is a ton of great guys out there, and there's a ton of guys that have been around a lot longer than me, and that do phenomenal work.
Of course.
But to know that people want to come to me over these guys, or they choose to have our product instead of somebody else's, it's a good feeling, you know.
It's fucking amazing, and you guys 100% deserve it, 1000%. All right, what are your favorite cars to work on?
So, I worked on Supras before. Never really got to work on a Supra where the customer is willing to go all the way.
Okay.
Now that I actually have a customer, I have a couple of Supras now coming in, and I have one in the corner at the moment, but that customer actually decided to go all the way through with the full build. So now that I've worked on that, I feel like, man, that's actually a pretty cool car to work on. It almost reminds me of like a Honda Civic.
Minus the size of the engine bay?
Yeah, like an EG, EK, Integras. The reason I say it's similar is because the engines were so simple, yet you can get so much out of them. And the engine bays were huge, right? So you're not dealing with...
That's what I'm saying.
You're sticking your hand.
Exactly.
Places you can't even fit.
The engine bay is huge, literally.
Right.
It's huge.
So that is one of my favorite cars to work on. It's one of my favorite cars in general. I love the Mazdas too. Can't say I love working on them.
I mean, that's what I was gonna ask you. I know you're a rotary guy yourself, but you would say that, what? Because rotary is a lot more difficult to work on?
It's not so much that it's more difficult to work on, I'll be honest with you. I know some of the rotary stuff, I just don't know it as well as other people do. I know it well enough to get by.
Totally.
I don't know it well enough to have a customer pay me to do a huge job unless I'm involving somebody else in it.
Yeah.
It's a huge learning curve going from a piston motor to a rotary engine.
100%. This is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that they're simpler motors. It's just if you don't know it, you don't know.
Exactly. It is. The whole concept of it is more simple, but
because
you just try and learn something completely new, and you're like, wow.
Right. There's a lot less moving parts. You figure on the piston motor, you got pistons, rods, valves, cams, rockers. You got all these parts, and on a rotary, you just got a E-shaft and some rotors, and somehow, it's just like anything else. If you haven't tried it, it's gonna be a learning curve.
Totally, 100%. It's kind of looking like an Evo shop around here. Why are so many Evos coming over here?
So initially, it's crazy because I started with Hondas, but I realized I didn't want to be stuck in only Hondas. As a business, you always got to be diverse. And I know a lot of friends, and I have friends that do only Hondas. And when it's slow, it's slow. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the game. But for me, I had a friend that bought an Evo, which is an Evo and he allowed me to play with it.
So that was like kind of one of the first ones?
That was one of the first Evos I got to play with, going deep into it. And there was doubts, like anybody else. There was people that doubted what I was doing. But to me, an engine's an engine. If you know how an engine works, you'll see that it's all relatively the same.
100%.
They just have different styles of cams or displacements are a little slightly different, but the way an engine works is always the same. You have combustion, ignition, air. And people didn't really have too much faith in it, but once it got out there, people loved what I did, and out of nowhere it was one Evo, another Evo, and then pretty soon I had 10 Evos at my house.
100%.
My neighbors started complaining, it became a big thing, the Evos. And now they follow me everywhere I go,
They really do,
the crazy part too is it's not a car that I really enjoy working on too much. But nonetheless, whether we enjoy working on a car or not, we treat every car the same whether you come here with a Civic or a Lambo or whatever it is.
100%.
We'll always do the best of our work.
I mean, if you're just seeing STI killers all day, I mean, I can understand, you know, like, come on, guys, see something else.
But they are good cars. I honestly prefer the 4G63 engine over the 4V11.
Why?
Simpler to work on. Again, it's exactly like a B series or a 2J. They're almost the same as far as how they're simple. Yeah. You go into like the 4V11. You start dealing with a lot of sensors.
Well, it was all changed just for emissions, pretty much, right?
Right. But another thing too is like the 4G63s were like iron block.
Yeah, exactly. True.
So,
definitely a lot of mixed reviews. 100%.
No, yeah, definitely. So that's how we have that's the reason why we have so many EVOs in here because.
Dude, well, I love it. I love coming in here and seeing older EVOs. And this gray one right here, you were saying has an Evo 7 front end and a 7 rear end?
Yeah. So this car
we're gonna use cinematics of that one with the quick.
Yeah. So this car was just sold by one of our customers to a new customer of ours.
Okay.
A lot of guys in the industry know this guy. His name is Jay Craig. He's pretty popular on
I'm sure.
Car show scene.
I'm sure our boy Josh, the cameraman back here, knows.
Yeah.
He's smiling.
So that car just got purchased somewhere up north. I'm not even exactly sure. And it got resold here in California. Now they want us to do a full build and turn it into a World Time Attack car. So,
let's go.
Yeah, we'll see what gives, you know.
And those wheels on there.
Yeah, you know, classic T28s. Not bad.
I need those. So one thing that I did want to talk about a little bit because I'm sure only the very small niche people who really know about you and the infamous yellow RX-7 know, but Travis Scott, Jack Boy's music video, your car was featured in it. How did that happen?
So I have a friend, his name is Max. He was working as an assistant for Travis. Apparently they had followed the car and they had seen it and he wanted the car for a music video. I don't know exactly what conversation took place, to be honest with you.
Well, whatever happened,
I'm just kind of, you know, relaying the story that was supposed to me. And I got approached by them and they said if they could use the car for the music video. I thought I was going to be somewhere in the background behind all the fancy.
And they were like, no, we want it like in front.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because they showed up with Lambos and Solar Mercedes and all these crazy cars. Yeah, NSXs. So I'm like, for sure I'm in the back somewhere, you know?
And then they're like, nope.
Looking like the peasant in the back. But they ended up using it, and of course you don't get to see what parts of the videos you're gonna be in.
But it wasn't even just in the music video, it was the album cover.
Yeah, so and that's what I'm saying, like when they were filming, I couldn't see how much I was really gonna be a part of until they started saying we want it in the front, we want it in the front, we want it in the front. And the next thing you know, they're making nice IG GIFs about it, like little GIFs, and they ended up putting it on Madison Square Garden, they had it on the billboards. Everywhere, people were sending me pictures like in Malibu and different places.
And then it officially dropped that was going to be the album cover.
Right. And then they ended up using it for merch. Sweaters, hoodies, shirts, mugs, and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. I even had customers ask me like, oh man, can you give me some free stuff? And I was like, you know, I don't like being the guy that really goes bugging for stuff.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It would have been nice.
I mean, that is just one of the coolest things ever. And like what we were just talking about a few minutes ago with social media being something that can take you out to other people. Right. Because it's like, okay, if there wasn't for social media, that opportunity probably never would have happened.
No, definitely not. Because they wouldn't have known who the car was. Especially because me, I'm really low key. Like, I don't really go out much.
Exactly. So. The only place you'll find this dude, if you want, you gotta follow his OnlyFans page, John Oregon. If you want to find him, super secret. Don't tell anyone I said that. But that's the only place you're gonna find him is onlyfans.com/John Oregon. If you use the code All Aspects, we get 20% of every subscription. So just go ahead and do that. Thank you. Yeah, but that is so cool.
That was big. That was big, and even meeting him was.
Dude, that's such a badass experience.
You know, it's crazy too because when they hit me up, I was like, Travis Scott. They're like, hey, you know who Travis Scott? I was like, I'm terrible with it. It has nothing to do with like artists or anybody.
Yeah.
I'll forget my own cousin.
And then they were like, yeah. And then you're like, oh yeah.
No, they were starting saying, dating one of the Kim Kardashians or something. I was like, so I played stupid. I was like, oh yeah, definitely, you know.
Oh god, that's awesome.
And one of my friends sent me a song of what he's saying. I was like, oh yeah, I know the song, you know, and I know his music.
That's nuts.
And yeah, getting to meet him and stuff like that was pretty cool. Real quiet guy. It's crazy because I pictured him being like
super loud and just fucking acting dumb and shit.
Not so much acting dumb, but you know, they tend to like, they have like their entourage.
Yeah.
Kind of going crazy.
100%.
And surprisingly, he's a really humble, quiet dude, you know? I mean, I didn't get to talk to him much, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like I had a conversation.
But that's dope. Some people just act like, you know, just, they don't have any time. It's like, fuck you, fucking not even any good energy, you know? Yeah. So that's cool.
No, so that was pretty cool too. I nearly hit him at the set too. Crashed into him.
With your car?
Yeah.
What?
Well, because they were telling, so one of the other guys showed up and they put their car like right in the front. I guess they, you know, everybody wants to get their 15 minutes of fame. And then he pulls up and he's like, no. He's like, where's the yellow car? Where's the yellow car? And I thought he had told him to put the yellow car in the back. So I was like, all right, well, no big deal. I'll put it in the back. And then he shows up. He's like, no, where's the yellow car? I want the yellow car in the front. The yellow car in the front. And I was nervous the first time meeting him, and I'm moving forward. And I go to let off the clutch. I forgot I left it in gear, so I kind of did that little jump. So I'm like, oh, my bad, dude, my bad, blah, blah. He's like, no, don't worry about it, It was cool.
That's so cool. That's such a great experience. And yeah, there you go. It's like things like that where it's just like, you can't be a secret agent. I mean, it's like us too, you know, like you're similar because we're just in our shop being creative, working, you know, like you're in here, you're working, you're grinding all day.
Right.
And we don't really make the time that we should to then go and show all the hard work to get it to the people, you know?
Right.
So it's like, and I mean, after that music video popped off, you guys like almost doubled your following, right? It just started going crazy on your page.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a ton of following, but it definitely doubled.
It still went well over 10,000.
Which it was kind of like, it was almost refreshing to see that a lot of his followers even knew, because I did go on, like, when people sent me the video, I was reading some of the comments. There was a ton of like RX-7. So it was cool to even see that people knew like it's crazy how big our industry is. It's bigger than we think it is.
It is, and it's coming back even bigger and better. And like again, with social media and the community and everything with the content, it's just like those niche communities are just getting bigger and bigger. And it's so dope to be a part of it.
And I hope it gets bigger. You know,
it will.
Hopefully California, because we're a little more lenient with it.
Exactly. Well, that's not gonna happen, but I think what is gonna happen is we're all gonna have to move to like Texas or Arizona. Realistically, I can't even get the Evo smog right now, so it's like,
it's tough. And it sucks too, because I feel the car industry, racing.
Yeah.
It's always been like a real
it's a California vibe.
Yeah.
It is.
It's always been huge in California. This is where Shelby started, but a lot of the big names started, and it's supposed to be like an Americana type of thing, and it's kind of like it's being frowned upon, you know.
The vibe getting killed.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. And real quick, before we say peace out, we have to announce the giveaway winner from last video, Driver's Head episode 1, which was the Nothing Happens Overnight tee. And the winner is Joseph Flores. If you can see that. Homie hookup, baby. Nothing Happens Overnight tee. You're gonna get that. And John, thank you so much for having us out. I really appreciate everything. We'll be back with another episode of Driver's Side. Fuck you, Josh.